All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am with the Mr. Fabuloso Mark Porter. Hello, hello.
Hello. Gosh, I love that swimming pool behind you. What's the name of the hotel?
It is Casa de Stephanie Court here.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Thank
Nice.
you. Well, you know, when the sun, when we are open to hanging out and doing more things, you are definitely gonna come over. So, all right. So today's topic, everyone, is how to raise financially aware children. When it comes to financial awareness, it doesn't have to just be adults. It could be kids. So how do you get that started, Mark? Is do you help kids get financially set up?
I do. One of the reasons why I became interested in the financial planning industry was actually a woman financial planner visited our math class when I was in the seventh grade, and she taught us a lot of these basic concepts. And we reviewed the information in the newspaper for the price of stocks and pork bellies and all that stuff. She taught us how to read these things in the newspaper, but more importantly, she taught us that it was extremely important for us to separate ourselves from some of our money so that it could grow and that we could use it later to help us out. And she was just amazing. I unfortunately I don't remember her name, but gosh, she came to our class several weeks in a row and taught us how to read the stock prices in the newspaper. If you could believe it, back then that was the most up to date information. And really, it begins at home, and people have to realize that they probably have an abundance in their life. They may not even know that they have an abundance. I started off saving $5 a week into my credit union savings account from mowing lawns, and I felt and I was taught that I had to get that $5 into that account every Friday. That was really, really important for my goals and that sort of thing. And then later on in life, I figured out some of the other things that are around that. But sometimes we have to start with the parents. I just got a note from a woman the other day who said, why isn't financial topics more of a class in school? Or why isn't it a bigger class in college, if you will? And I did take um, some kind of a remedial math class at one time. I didn't feel like going higher in math in high school, and I wanted to kind of relax a little bit. So I took a lower level class in math. And that class also was amazing because the thought in my high school was the kids in this class were not going to go to college. So we learned how to balance a checkbook. We learned how to go buy a car from a car dealer. We learned about life insurance. I mean, it was just, when I think about it, I'm like, all kids
Yeah.
should have had that class. But the thought was that these kids would go into a blue collar job or they would not go to college at all. And this was their last place of education for finances. And it was really amazing to have information that I could use at home to help my parents out, some things that they didn't know about life insurance and that sort of thing. So, pretty amazing stuff. When you think about it, sometimes our kids that we have right now may be in charge of taking care of our finances if we get into a car accident, a stroke, or a health situation, and we're alive, but we're not dead. Well, guess who's going to be handling our finances? It's going to be the younger people in our life. And we really should not only educate ourselves, but educate those kids as much as possible. American Century Investments has a program, How to Raise Financially Aware Children. And it's a book with a workbook, and it's a whole structure of the things to go through so everyone gets the vocabulary. And a lot of times after I meet with a fun family, I'll order it on eBay and have it sent to their house. It's usually like $30 or something like that. But it's amazing to get that vocabulary in place and to be able to talk to somebody about that stuff.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I think these are core conversations to have because sometimes, we spend so much money on just, we're regularly spending it on lattes or just expensive dinners or lunches. And sometimes we just don't understand how much those add up. And when we really could just kind of scale back a little bit and add that money towards something that's going to grow or something towards ourselves or funding our kids' account or our own account. But I would say I started late. I mean, I was probably about 19, and I have a family member who set up. She was like so big on like get your Vanguard account. I guess she had started a Vanguard account. Get your Vanguard account. And gave me an initial some start money to open the account, and then at that point I felt like, oh, I have an account, and then at that point it was my goal to contribute to the account, and then that's how I bought some. That's how when I first bought my first house, that's that's the money I used towards a down payment. And I didn't. It's not like I had a ton, but it was money that I had. I even in my hardest days when I was struggling and I didn't have money, I didn't think to touch it because that's something I just didn't touch. So, but then when I did have an opportunity to buy a house, and this is when I was 23, I was like, and that's when I was able to do 100% financing back then. So I took that money and I bought my first house. So, sometimes you just don't understand how a small impact could make a difference and making a move and how much money, even if it doesn't seem like a significant amount of money, actually could open up doors for you. So, yeah, I hear you on
Yeah.
that.
I'm glad you brought up the purchase of your first house. I had to sacrifice my 20% down payment. And you know what I ended up
Okay,
okay.
sorry, can you repeat that? That was horrible. Okay, so you said that when it came to your first purchase, what happened?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up buying the first house. I was scrimping and saving and everything else to try to save up for that 20% down payment. And a financial planner actually educated me about FHA foreclosures in 1991. And I discovered I could buy a duplex for $500 down. I didn't need all of that money
Oh,
that I
wow.
thought I needed. So having these professional people in your life that have done things or that know things, really, really amazing to have these people that can get you around. And I can't tell you how many times I've talked to young people to say, hey, the FHA first time homebuyer loan was made for people like you. Yeah, sure. You want to put 20% down if you can, but you got other priorities and that sort of thing. How much longer do you want to lose out on real estate appreciation in California? Usually buying the property earlier is better for you long term.
Yep. No, absolutely. So yeah, we all start somewhere, but if there's an interest, I mean, someone's gonna find a way. So so when it comes to any financial talk, guys, have a conversation, figure out what that means, how to be financially aware. There's so many different angles of being financially aware, but we start somewhere. So for those who haven't started, start and make the phone call. This is a matter of picking up the phone, getting some answers, and then developing a plan. When you're developing your plan, have your kids involved because it gives them something to look forward to. It gives them a different angle to think about, oh, this money could do this and compound interest and what do they want to do when they're like in their 20s and how much money do I want to have and when do you want to retire. So for the folks that are younger now, if you start doing something, you potentially could retire at a decent age if you plan. So so anyway, so these are topics for you, for us to help guide you. You could get more in depth with your financial planner. Mark's available if you need him. But we're just here to answer any questions or just plant some seeds in your mind so then to start somewhere. And Mark, I think you're fabulous. And if someone wants to call you or contact you, what's the best way?
Sure. My cell phone number is 415-596-9933. I'm on LinkedIn, Mark Anthony Porter over at Ameriprise. And it's a quick call. Hey, let's see what you're trying to do. And we'll probably set up another 1 hour phone call to see what's going on. And 9 times out of 10, you can do your own financial planning with a little bit of help. And I really believe that. Not everybody needs to hire a specialist. every time. You might eventually hire someone later, but think about yourself first. Put your own oxygen mask on first, people. Take care of yourself first. You're the only one who's going to be helping you out. Hopefully, your kids are smarter financially than you are. If they're not, gosh, they're going to be taking care of you someday. Get them educated right now.
Absolutely. And if when it comes to finances, that's Mark's department. But if you're even in the part where you just want to talk about starting and figuring out how to get into real estate, that's where I come in. And if you have a realtor of choice, talk to them. Talk to somebody. So whether it's somebody that you already trust, and if you don't have a relationship with someone, happy to always talk to you and figure out how I can help. But talk to someone. So anyway, thank you so much for meeting us today, and we are always here for you. And see you next time.